Hello folks, my name is Mark. This is UCD Toy Reviews. How you guys doing? So today we're taking a look at the Godzilla reaction figure from Super 7. Those of you kids out there who are too young to remember the 70s, well, what this is it's a homage from the old Shogun Warriors line from Mattel, where they took some super robot anime and made very, very large figures of them. I think they're like 18 inches tall or whatever. And these things were really cool, you know. Way back in the day, they had firing missiles and rocket punches, stuff like that. And Mattel also released a Godzilla and also a Rodan in the same line. So that's basically what this is, but, you know, shrank down to 3.5 inches tall to fit in with the reaction figures from Super 7. So let's take a look at the box. Pretty cool stuff. You can see here's Godzilla on here, you know. From what I understand, this looked pretty close to the original box, of course, just scaled down, way down. And so you can kind of see what he looked like. He had this sort of flickering fire tongue that you would flick a little thing on the back and his tongue would stick out. And then another cool thing is that Godzilla had a rocket punching hand to kind of fit in with the rest of the Shogun Warriors, which even when I was 6 years old, I always thought that didn't make a lot of sense because, you know, it's Godzilla, how could he have a firing hand or whatever, but still that, you know, that's what it had. Here's the side, so you can kind of see what Godzilla looked like, you know, and, you know, it really does kind of resemble more of the Marvel Godzilla that was, you know, in the comics at the time. So it doesn't really seem to match what the movies have, but that's okay, you know. This was the 70s, it was a magical decade. So let's go ahead and open this guy up. Okay, let's see here. Got to very carefully. Alright. So this was actually a exclusive with this year's San Diego at-home Comic-Con or whatever. So here's hoping that next year we actually get an in-person Comic-Con. That would be nice, you know. This is the second year in a row that they had to cancel it due to the pandemic, but still, they still had some pretty nice premiums. So there we go. There goes Godzilla. Looks just like what I remembered. So let's see, how can we get him out of here without ruining the packaging? Because since this is an exclusive, this no doubt will be worth some money someday. Looks like they kind of kept his flickering tongue there a little. You can kind of see the back there. That's the flickering tongue. But let's take a look at this figure. Yeah, looks pretty close to the original. You know, the sculpt is actually very spot on. So let's get him out of this plastic thing. Does he come out easily? I don't want to damage the plastic. Ah, there we go. Okay. Let's take a look at this figure here. Looks pretty good. It's wow, it's very tight. The joints are very tight. This actually, I always thought didn't really look that much like Godzilla, because if you look at it, see how short and stubby the tail is? Well, remember that the original figure was like 18 inches tall. So it was gigantic. I mean, it was like, you know, or 18 or 20 inches, however big the Shogun Warriors were. I can't remember off the top of my head. But they were gigantic. They were big enough to where they could take a figure like this size, this sort of Star Wars 3¼ inch size, and they could hold it in their hand. That's how big the original toy was. So, you know, and plus it was the 70s, so some liberties can be given for that. But it actually looks really close, you know, like it didn't really have, it had these sort of like Tyrannosaur spikes. It didn't really have like the big, you know, back spines that the Japanese Godzilla had, and the tail was all kind of short and stubby, so that actually kind of fits. And let's see, the action feature back on the original toy was a little thing that you would flick and it would make its tongue stick out, and it kind of looks like they're kind of doing the same thing here, so you can kind of see like he's breathing fire. But to me, even when I was a kid, I always thought that just looked like he was sticking his tongue out. So that's kind of cool. I kind of wish that this thing didn't stick out of the back of its head like that, though. That looks a little meh. Like, I wish you could take this out, you know. But no, it doesn't look like it's removable. But that's okay. Look at That's vaguely sexual. But still, when you look at it close up, that is kind of exactly what the old toy looked like. It was just like, so you could pretend he's breathing fire on people. So this seems to be based more on like either the Marvel Godzilla or the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla. Like both of those things were, you know, popular in the 70s, right? So, you know, it's green. It's, you know, it's not the right color. It doesn't have the right spikes or whatever. He's got that sort of weird pig dog nose thing, but still, it's like, you know, this is actually the version of Godzilla for a lot of people. The other thing is that his hand would also shoot off back. So does his hand come off? It doesn't come off. I don't. Well, maybe it does, but I don't want to pull it off. But that was another thing, is that he had a rocket firing hand, which I always thought, you know, was weird. But you know, this was the 70s, so I don't know. It's kind of cool though. It's kind of cool if you look on eBay to find the original one of these. Usually they're super duper expensive, and they're more expensive because most of the time the hand is missing and the fire breath is broken. You know, this little thing would break a lot. So getting one of these, you know, let alone if you want one in the package or whatever, but just getting one of the originals complete can run you a couple $100s. So this is kind of cool, you know, if you wanted like a nice little alternative. And you know, the thing is, I never really had one of these growing up, but pretty much every friend I ever knew had one. Right? So me, myself personally, you know, nah. I mean, it was cool, and don't get me wrong, if it would have shown up under the Christmas tree, I would have been very grateful, but I didn't need it, because I could just always, like, choose any one of my friends and just go to their houses and play with it, so. But I don't know. I kind of enjoy this. I'm digging this. You know, I think I'll keep him out loose on the shelf with the rest of the Godzilla toys, you know. Nice little homage to a very funky period in Godzilla history. So anyway, folks, I think you can still probably get these on like eBay and stuff like that. And I know that you can't get them from the Super 7 website anymore because they were just an exclusive for Comic-Con. So that's unfortunate. If you still want them, you're probably going to have to pay aftermarket prices for it. But you know, as a Godzilla fan who grew up during this time, I think this is hitting all the right nostalgia buttons. Now all they got to do is make little same, you know, reaction figures of the Shogun warriors, and then I'll be in heaven. I'll buy those in a nanosecond. That'd be awesome. So, anyway, folks, that's all I got. Adios.